Hello and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, Inspector General Police tells Marwa to arrest and investigate NDLA officers who worked with Abba Kyari and drug cartels. And later on the show, INEC awaits Supreme Court decision on APC chairmanship candidates for Abuja Council area as PDP wins big in Abuja Municipal Council election. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Dotun Oladipo. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's start with the delicate matter of the killing of Hanifa Abubakar in Kano. It is difficult to call it impunity, audacity, or ambiguity when our school proprietor, Abdul Kadri Tanko, recanted in court after he had confessed to killing her. At his rearraignment before a Kano High Court for alleged murder of 5-year-old school pupil, Tanko pleaded not guilty to the charge of attempt to kidnap, abetment, kidnapping, and concealment of dead body. Bajiri, what's happening here?
Maybe the lawyers advised him to not own up ahead of the trial. He now got to court and said something completely different to what he had told the rest of us. You know that even Chidinma Ojukwu did something similar.
Yes.
She changed her story.
The first day of her arraignment, she was just
She changed her story
repeatedly.
Because lawyers will give you the impression that they can get you
they don't have
out of the hole that you found yourself. So, in order to stay alive, any man who will do whatever it takes to stay alive is gone to court now to deny killing her. You know, but the whole world is not convinced by his story. It's just people can't wait for him to be sentenced to death.
Okay, Doctor, I won't say on the contrary, but I would just say, look, this is the court now. That means the prosecutor must do a very, very thorough job to be able to link the death of this girl to this man. Because it's not just by what people, the public opinion, what they feel, but you must be able to establish the kind of case against him.
If it's by public opinion,
we
should have done jungle justice. That's what we would have had. Because even from the first lady to the governor and then down the line, it's a done deal. This man has confessed. He was the one who took the police to where they buried her and all the rest. He collected money as ransom. Even if it wasn't much, he requested for 6 million. I think he got 100,000 before he killed it.
Low life.
So it's but what if you recollect, some few Sundays ago we were here discussing one judge in Taraba, so giving a contrary judgment to what the Court of Appeal ruled on and the Supreme Court. And a lawyer who joined us here said, see, it's always like that. Even when lawyers know, especially the senior ones, that this is a bad case, they still want to make something out of it. It's just a matter of buying time. Because if you say out of the 5 charges against you of criminal conspiracy, attempt to kidnap, abatement, kidnapping, and concealing of a dead body, you are agreeing to one, which is the criminal conspiracy. Then what happened to the others? What about your statements to the police? What about your statements to the media? These are very, it's just that, like we always say, rule of law will be rule of law. There can't be jungle justice in the court. Otherwise, for me, I see the pulling out of the Attorney General of a whole state trying a case like this as a waste of time. Because it's the commissioner for justice in Kano who is out there doing the case himself. I think it's just sheer waste of resources and time.
One other discouraging thing is that they should get justice on time. That this should, be handled with expeditiously, so that It will serve as a kind of deterrent. It should not go on and on.
We've been promised that they will do everything possible to expedite this matter. And naturally, if the suspect was thinking he could get a lenient sentence by admitting to the crime, he probably wouldn't have gone this route. But I think in his heart he's convinced that even if he decides not to waste the time of the court and he owns up to his crime in the open court, he will still get the maximum sentence. Maybe that's why he's just doing this, because look, Hush Puppy, for example, he didn't waste the time of the court. He knew that yes, that they have found all the evidence to convict him. So he didn't waste the time of the court, because that could make the judge even angry. You know, so he will get a lenient this or something linear than
what he
was meant to get, because he didn't waste the time of the court. You know, judges are liable to. No, it's not even a matter of singing. Once they provide all the evidence, what are you going to do? You just keep your mouth shut. You can't say that empirical evidence is no evidence. No, if you do that, you are wasting your time. Even this fellow now is merely wasting his time.
It's only in Nigeria.
The judge, the lawyer will do their best for him, but this matter is like a prima facie matter, in my view. The whole, he even explained why he did not bury her outside of the school complex. He buried her within the school premises because he didn't want to be noticed. He didn't want to be seen committing the crime of burying the body somewhere else. So it's just these early days, and I'm sure that the police will do a good job. They've also promised us that everybody that they needed to arrest, they've arrested them. So this is not a matter that should last long. If anybody will escape, maybe it's his wife. But even that one will go to jail, because she was aware.
It's abetment.
She was aware that this girl was kidnapped. She may not get the maximum sentence like the
like an accessory.
Yes, an accessory after the fact. You know, so this just is unfortunate. Why not just confess
and let it be easy
let it go
for the states?
So.
All right, youths in Taraba State are miffed with what they call an incitement. The leadership of the State Youth Council has threatened legal action against the Director General of Muslim Rights Concern, Murik, for allegedly inciting Muslims against Christians in the state. The group, comprising Muslims and Christian youths, were reacting to a statement credited to Murik, accusing Governor Darius Ishaku of implementing an anti-Muslim agenda. Let's share the story by TVC News Owolabi Adenusi with you.
The press release of Professor Ishaq Akinola, Director, Muslim Rights Council, Murik, has accused Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Samuel Otom of Benue State, and Darius Ishaku of Taraba State of being Muslim haters. It has not gone down well with Taraba Youth Council and the state chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria. The Youth Council, made up of both Christians and Muslims, want relevant security agencies to go after Professor Akinola before he set the countries ablaze with his utterances.
To me, I think this is an attempt to cause a serious crisis in Taraba State. What Professor Ishaq Akintola, the Director Muslim Rights Concern, have said, he's trying to incite the people of Taraba State into a serious crisis. So the federal government should seriously pick such people He's moving now freely. So the federal government should pick him and should be detained and questioned seriously, because such people are not supposed to be allowed to move freely in this society.
They addressed a press conference in Jalingo, insisted that they will not allow external forces to destabilize the state. They passed a vote of confidence on Ishaku's administration for carrying them along in the scheme of things.
But here in Taraba State, we have families. In every family, there is a Christian and there are Muslims. And we live in peace accord. So we are hereby saying that the general public should disregard that statement and release made by Murik, because he will not come and instigate any fight.
And if you can see, there are so many Muslims who have been part and parcel of not only the system, but are very, very close to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Taraba State. If the governor is against the Muslims in the state, you won't see such personalities like the Deputy Governor, the Permanent Secretary, Bureau for Local Government Affairs, the Executive Secretary, Primary Health Care, and so many of them who have been so close to the governor.
Murik, in a statement on Wednesday, 9th of February, accused the governors of working against Muslims in their states. He claimed it has irrefutable evidence that Governor Ishaku has been sacking Muslim workers without following due process and replacing them with Christians. It is an allegation that Khan and the State Youth Council have
To break this down, what is the problem here?
You know, everyone knows the Murik one.
One man squad.
The role he plays, everyone is aware of. Yes, our friends at Khan have in the past played this kind of card. So Murik is actually playing the catch-up. Because when you read some very inciting comments by Khan in the past, you just wonder what's going on. But we have this man now going around inciting Nigerians against one another. It is just rubbish. What is religion after all?
I'm telling you.
It's a personal thing. Why are we using religion to divide ourselves? This Taraba State, the kind of killings that happened there about 5 years ago, you remember, even the president had to go there. Today, the Fulani and the natives, they had a meeting and resolved that they will have no reason to kill one another again. They apologized to one. It's one of the best this thing that you've seen. Yes, in fact, I can say in our country, I've never seen a kind of peace accord
between the Christians
no, not really. That one was not even religious in nature. Between in terms of communal conflict between contending groups that achieve that kind of success, because the killings in Mambila since that day when they came together to apologize to one another and said, look, we have lived for hundreds of years together
in peace.
Why did we do this to ourselves? Why are we killing ourselves? We will not allow this to happen again. Since that day, Ayo, you will never hear again that in Mambila that people were killing one another. Since that day, that means it was a genuine reconciliation. So it is not that state that Akintola will try to be inciting people because yes, sit. Does he really sit in Lasso? You can't leave this. I mean, you can't go and be inciting violence in a place like that, because we still remember how many people died in Mambila, and we don't want it to happen again. Use religion. People like Wike may ignore him. You understand? The religious demographics in Rivers is not the same as
Adamawa, Taraba.
In those places, you have Christians, you have Muslims, you have many ethnic groups. So if people like Wike can just ignore him and not spare him a comment, over there they know that these little things can lead to real violent combustion. So that's why they are saying, no, this has to stop. You can't just, in other places, religious leaders who open their mouths to incite violence, they will be picked up. Can they do it in Rwanda, for example?
But over time, Professor Akintola has been releasing several press statements and everything, and there has been controversial. I don't know if the security, the state security, they've had cause to call him, to invite him. It's always playing up.
Yeah, for me, I think, especially in this case, if the prof is able to establish clearly the case of injustice, infringement of human rights, without introducing the element of religion into it, it would have been perfect. Because one of the cases is cited in Taraba, which is the main one, as the main character there, fighting his case legally. And coming in at that point to intervene and say, Mr. Governor, why don't you accede to this without introducing the element of religion, would have made more sense. It would have made that position more tenable. Because one of the cases he cited was that of the MD/CEO of Taraba Microfinance Bank, who was sacked from office. He was given a letter in 2018, backdated to 2016. Central Bank rejected the removal, and the case is in court, fighting it legally. But playing the religious cards is the one that is the problem. And that's what has been happening elsewhere. It says it's the Christian, or they tag the organization Islamic Human Rights Organization. But we should be very careful.
Muslim rights concern.
Yes, and it's Christian, as Islamic Human Rights Organization. We should be very careful, because even in places like Osun and Oyo, where has also been accused of the same thing, we intermarry. I'm a Christian from Osun State. I married from a Muslim family in Oyo State. I stayed most part of my life growing up in Oyo State. So if you are bringing this issue of religion, I'm beginning to wonder, which religion are we talking about?
It's even dangerous. It's even dangerous. Especially here in the southwest.
It's dangerous.
We are too interconnected.
Yes,
we are too interconnected for anyone to try to bring it up. Look at, there are times when you find, in Lagos here, there was a time that we had Muslim ticket.
Yes.
Jafojo and Jakonde.
Yes.
Nobody raised any eyebrow. Jakonde was the best governor of his generation. People were more concerned about what he was achieving. And the legacy that he has, no governor will be able to match Jakonde in Lagos. No one. No one. So people can't even be trying to divide us with religion in the southwest. Anyone who embarks on that mission will fail. Anyone who embarks on that mission will fail, because we are too interconnected to be fighting one another over religion. In some families, it's almost even equal.
50-50.
Yes. And they correlate together peacefully. You won't hear that they are drawing dagger at themselves. But our concern is where you find that a state, for example, where it is evident that, look, little things like that can stir violence. You don't go to those places, or you don't sit in the comfort of your home trying to incite violence in those places, because when it happens, your own children will not partake of it. They are safe and ensconced where they are. Even you will not move near the area.
At all.
How many people would take the risk, even in the case of violence, to say, I want to go and help them to resolve their differences? They stay away from there. Sometimes when we talk about going to places, they say, why are you going to those places? Do the people live in those places, do they not deserve to be heard? Are they not human beings? So because they are killing people in Zamfara now, nobody should go there. That is the nature of a lot of us, especially those who sit in their homes trying to foment trouble. They are cowardly. They cannot even go to dangerous places to try to resolve disputes. People resolve these disputes. Some of you are trying to revive the dispute again so that people can kill themselves. I mean, it makes no sense.
It doesn't at all. You are
Makes no
quite
sense.
right. You are quite right. That's we
All
should
right.
look.
Moving on now. The bubble has burst and may even burst more regarding the drug war in Nigeria. The suspended head of the Police Intelligent Response Team, IRT, Abba Kyari, is in the center of the saga. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has urged the chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLA, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, to immediately arrest officers of the agency involved in drug crimes with accomplices of suspended Kyari. In a statement through Force PRO, Muiwa Adejobi, the IGP said there is incontrovertible evidence that the international narcotics cartel involved in this case have strong ties with some officers of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at the Akano Ibiam International Airport in Enugu. Jide, quickly, this is like an unfolding story. Yesterday we touched it, and
Yes.
later we now got more information of what actually happened. But one thing we were able to establish, you even asked question that, why is it that his suspension, his first case, why he went on suspension, lingered till now? Because people are asking, because even from suspension, we discovered that he was still operating.
Yes.
And a lot of these IRC guys
was still relating with the guys.
Yes. And he was still doing
That's why I described it as impunity yesterday. You should be, when you are on suspension, you should be remorseful.
I don't think Abakari should be.
You should be remorseful. You should be very careful about your public actions.
Yes.
You should take your time. You know, when he posted those pictures,
The IGP's daughter's wedding.
people condemned it. He quickly removed all of them.
Yes.
Hundreds of pictures he posted at once.
Close to 500.
Yes, he posted them, and then
500.
I think because of the backlash, he
He
quickly.
enjoys publicity.
No, well, that is his choice. But let him do what is right. You can't be on suspension and be seen to be doing your work.
Okay, this is a picture, I think, from the wedding.
That is
Obi
Obi
Kubana.
Kubana. You know, you can't be on suspension and be seen to be doing your work. Make yourself even incommunicado during that period. But to be relating with these guys and to still be functioning as if you were not suspended in the first place is unheard of. I don't know how to describe it.
Audacity. Something
That is humongous audacity to go to that length, to be relating with them directly, giving instructions, somebody on suspension. And that's where you are tempted to blame the police authorities. His matter should have been decided
Yes,
before
that
now.
was the first case you mentioned.
If you wanted to keep him with your reasons,
You'd have
go
led
ahead.
him and would have seen that.
You would have seen. If you said, Abba Kyari, there's no strong evidence to link him with Osh Poppy and the rest of them, then provide your excuse. Let Nigerians be able to see. And the Police Service Commission too shouldn't have allowed this matter to drag on. I guess they were not happy with the report that was submitted to them. But the Police Service Commission has the power to fire. They have the power to fire. They could have done it on their own. You understand? So now, look at what has happened. Because if that matter had been decided and you probably recommended prosecution and anything, maybe he wouldn't be doing the things that he's doing. But let's even go to the issue that the police raised. I think the police were right on the money. on this matter because the police effected this arrest in the first place. And they interrogated those guys. So they are saying that, look, in the course of interrogation, we discovered that these guys had collaborators within the NDLA.
Yes, they would have
and those collaborators, their pre-boarding passports, their pre-boarding pictures will be sent to them so that they have a mental picture of what their faces look like. If they have white beard like you, and or they are clean shaven like Dotun, at least they will. Oh, it's not entirely clean shaven.
No, I'm hiding it.
He was using his hand to hide it. So now they will know them and then give them free passage. So there's no doubt about it that the way couriers escape from our country only to be arrested elsewhere, it suggests that the airports here are porous, and we need to do something about it. So the suggestion by the police should be taken seriously. They need to go after those people.
Okay, we'll take this break. Just keep that dial locked. TVC News. We'll be right back after this time out. Please don't go away. Welcome back. We are still looking at the arrest of the former IRT boss, that's Abakari. Dotun, as an intelligence person, you use sophisticated gadgets to run after criminals for years, and you should know better. That car was rigged. It was rigged with cameras, audio, and everything. Abakari kept talking. He didn't know.
Well, that's because he trusted the man he was dealing with, in a way. The way he was speaking, you know that he had confidence that he was speaking to somebody who will not betray him. That was his thought. You could see the confidence. He was spilling it all out. If this hadn't happened, we wouldn't have been able to see that, like we've suspected all along, the issue of drugs and other criminalities have the backings of those who are well trained, those who know the steps.
Because if you follow the story of El Chapo, Narcos, all these guys, they have people in the police. Particularly in the police, somebody must be in the police that will aiding and abetting their activities.
Somebody in government, up there, who is part of the security apparatus, must be able to provide not just security, but also room to escape justice. That's what happens. And this has clearly shown that it's what we've suspected all along. So when sometimes we discuss these issues off camera, and they say we have hauled in this number of criminals, we have taken in this number of drug smugglers, The question I always ask people off the camera is, how many more are on the loose? How many more have succeeded? Because this is exactly a classical case of what happens in our country. You only hold those who have not succeeded in playing the ball.
Carry you along.
Play the ball, the level at which you want it, or those who do not know who to reach out to. That's what happens.
So the resources at the disposal of international drug barons is huge.
Huge.
They can bribe anybody.
Because I was just thinking.
In our country, this is the first country I know in the world where drug was containerized. Drug. A whole container full of narcotics. Remember that case?
Yeah.
Valued at that time when our currency was very strong at over £1 billion. Brought into this country.
No, but even this one that is 25 kg, and we are talking of
$61,000.
25 kg.
It's not even the
that's
25
the
kg.
value.
I think it's the 10 kg out of the.
I'm even no. I mean,
It's expensive.
if you are talking of that,
the
you've divided the money and somebody is getting $61,000.
Damn.
Then we
no any business,
It's a lot.
any business with a huge profit margin, people can die to get involved in it. The drug money is so huge, it's as tempting as sin. You know, it's as tempting as a woman in miniskirts. So people will do whatever it takes, Ayo,
to get it.
you know, when you see a woman in a micro miniskirt wriggling her waist and all that just going, you know how tempting
And
it is.
and the type
for
of
people.
color that
you are
even
driving
like.
your car, you are driving your car, your wife is beside you, you lack that presence of mind that the woman is there, but because you can see, you've even your saliva is almost dropping from your mouth. You're just looking at her. That's why I said drug money is as tempting as sin. As tempting as a woman in miniskirts. So this is the thing.
And also easy, especially if you get it right in this kind of manner.
Because
it's easy to come
people
by.
like people that Abakari are very
And our law is not
it's not heavy
not
on drug,
punitive
but
enough.
yes,
Not
yes,
punitive
for,
enough.
For drug
If it
peddlers.
was punitive, that woman now, the actress,
Yeah.
Wumi, popularly known as Wumi, you know, in no time, she was back at work. I said, what's going on? Somebody who would have lost her head if it was in South Africa. I mean,
Saudi Arabia.
in
Even in America,
if it was in Saudi Arabia, her head would have gone. Her head would have traveled. If it was in Malaysia, oh no, you won't come back alive.
Okay, let's quickly pick. Ade is calling us from London.
Yes, my greetings to everyone in the panel there.
All right,
well
Ade.
done.
Thank you.
God will reward all of you.
Amen.
This issue is a very serious case, Babajide. Very, very. We are watching from here. Drug is very, very serious issue. You can imagine if somebody is captured tomorrow that is supplying Boko Haram or is sponsoring Boko Haram. I belong to the same cartel.
Yes.
You can imagine how dangerous our country will be when a top man like this is supporting drug dealers. And actually, we all watched it yesterday here. Everybody was shivering. And you can imagine innocent life that this man has wrongly jailed or taken through this drug baron. So it's a serious matter. Waduma case is still there. The army is not so. They have not released their men up to now for this thing. You see, this is a serious case where everybody is viewing it here. So our government should take it serious. Our president says it's overwhelmed. Those who are helping him, the cabal, should think of tomorrow. And you see more revelation will come out after 2023. When they have a change of government.
You are right. You are very right.
You will hear more revelations.
You are right.
You see the speed of Magodo last time Magodo. If this DLA was to be under Anthony General, we will see headway. I'm telling you this. Nobody will hear it.
You said so. We don't know about that one. Thank you for your contribution. But you know, some people had cause to complain about the operation of the Mana Abakiari. If you remember that kidnapper Evans, he was saying it's not everything that was taken from my house that was declared. Now we want to be looking at those operations even before now, and you discover that so many things might have gone wrong.
That's why I said when I had last weekend that IRC had been disbanded again,
And this satellite.
and I said, what is going on? I said, how many? You know, when this IRC was disbanded the first time, how we fought to bring them back, and it was down to the successes that we know that Abakari had recorded. Those successes, we can't forget those successes. Whatever happens, I have no sympathy for Evans. Evans cost people their lives. Is a bloody rogue. He can say all kinds of things now. Let him face his trial. Let his lawyers stop wasting the time of the different courts. When he finishes here in Lagos, he's still going to.
No, we'll go to a lot of.
He's going to the east. He's going to Edo State. It's not only one case that he has.
In his lifetime.
Yes,
He's going to
he
Imo,
may
he's
spend the
going to
rest of
Edo.
his life battling cases if God gives him good health. So I have no sympathy for Abakia. I mean, for
Evans.
But for a man that we trusted so much, and some of us fought for him, you know, to keep his job, I can't describe the disappointment. I can't describe it. You know, when you hear about negative things about people that you love, you wish that it was a fairy tale. You wish that it never happened. I went to bed, you know, pinching myself and asking that, no, it can't be this guy now. It can't be this guy. You know, so what is happened? So people, one picture went viral of him preaching against drugs. Have you seen the picture?
Yes, I've seen the picture. Yes.
So people will come out with these things and say, look, so you are not actually what you wanted us to believe you are. This is what happens. I have a level of sympathy for him as somebody who had cracked some fantastic cases, you know. But the reality is what it is. The way it is now, it makes no sense except somebody who cannot engage his brains properly to publicly support him. I see people trying to do it, but of course, on social media, it's not everyone who is capable of positive conviction. So we just leave them to say what they like. This is a national disgrace. But the message of the IGP has to be taken on board.
Yeah, we shouldn't lose sight of that.
Within the FDLA, there are bad eggs, flush them out.
Their headquarters is said to be at that airport in Enugu. That yes, they've been operating from that place since 2021.
That is why some people will fight that some airports should go back into operation, because they know it's easier getting away with some of these things.
No, it's about where you have your own people.
Yes, that's the thing.
I won't even say that Lagos here is better than Enugu. The traffic here is huge, and I want to believe, given
it will even be worse.
Many people, when they are arrested, you discover that they pass through Municipal Mohammed Airport. So what are we saying?
It can even be worse.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that
given the volume of traffic, I certainly believe that it will be worse.
What I even said is what we have confirmed now, that everybody has its own sphere of influence. So that's where they go.
Yes.
And operate. So if yours is
that's
Lagos,
where they are confident.
you will ensure that your operations run through Lagos. If it is Abuja, there is nowhere it's not happening. But the important lesson we should take away, like the IG said, bring out all of these guys.
Yes.
Perhaps in the process of interrogation, in the process of investigation,
you will discover more of them. Look, there is a cartel that even people's bags, they will open it up and put drugs. That's what happened to that girl in Kano. And she go to Saudi Arabia and then she is arrested, if not for pressure.
And even there was a man too, about the same period, from Kano also.
And those people would have interfaced with people over there who will come and claim that bag. Ultimately, they will probably break into her room and take the bag away.
We trust General Buba Marwa that he will do the needful by producing these guys.
No, the investigation has to happen. This thing was not done in isolation. If the IG can come up this way, the IG investigated his own man. People didn't read that. They were wondering, this thing, there is a plan to ensure that Abakari does not get extradited. When did they declare him wanted?
A bigger crime.
Listen to them. When did they declare him wanted? That they quickly released him. They didn't know that the police conducted an investigation of their own men and discovered that 4 persons, along with Abakari, were culpable. The police had done their own investigation. This is what Nigerians
and more than 2 weeks ago.
Yes, they have not. This thing is not new.
It's not new.
They had even kept them in detention before eventually releasing them to these people. I'm even suspecting that even before the NDLA issued that statement declaring wanted, they will have spoken to the IG that, look, we want to declare your man wanted though, because we sent for him and he did not show up. So
the rest was in detention.
Okay, and finally, the just concluded council election in FC, Federal Capital Territory in FCT, Abuja, meant different things to the residents of political parties and the electoral umpire. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, which is supposed to use the council polls to perfect its system, is awaiting the decision of the Supreme Court on the chairmanship candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, for Abaji Area Council, as the party couldn't field anyone for the election due to legal tussle. Now, the results in Abaji could make it 3 apiece for the 2 major political parties in the contest, as the People's Democratic Party, PDP, won 3 chairmanship seats. Abuja, particularly, is always going the other way for any ruling party.
The government in power. It's no man's land.
Especially even the villa.
So to
that
say,
polling unit at the villa.
especially the main town itself, which is the AMAC.
Okay.
It's either you are performing and get the backing of the people, or you are not performing and you won't get the support.
So this is like a mini referendum on...
Yes, on any government in power at the center. I wish that the kind of thing that took place in Abuja, as imperfect as it is, from some of the reports that came in, this did not work here, that did not work there. We can repeat it across the country. We can repeat it across the country. Because somehow, we did not get to hear of all the violence, troubles, shooting, killings, ballot box snatching that happened. For me, that was the biggest lesson to take away from it. Apart from the fact that what we've always discussed on this issue, on this program, let there be democracy even inside the parties. That's the case. That's what happened in Abaji. If we can have that sorted at every level of election, and we can have the kind of peace that we had in Abuja over the weekend, where even the police at some point said, look, we don't need to declare any restriction of movement. Everybody go about your business.
That should be the normal model.
We should just, it should
not
just...
that we're having an election as if we want to go for war.
Lock down the whole country. You lock it down completely for us, and we know what we are losing economically. So if we can have this kind of peace, beginning with internal democracy within the parties. Because in Abaji, what happened was, one man went to the primaries and was declared the winner, Mohamed Luka. When the list was going to go to INEC, it became Umar Abdullahi.
APC.
It became Umar Abdullahi. And INEC is saying, see, this case is in court. Let them sort it out. Already APC has won by the number of votes. It's only the candidate we are waiting for to declare.
So APC can decide.
So APC, you are the one who is holding us. That's the bottom line. Except something changes in court. Because you know the way we run it. PDP can go to that same court and join itself to the suit and try to maneuver its way to say, see, if there is a problem within this party, then we should be next. Which will be very, very painful to the APC. Because that is what is happening now. And I don't see how they won't have to resolve this in the next few weeks.
All right, we'll take this break quickly. We'll be right back after this time out. Welcome back. This is Journalist Hangout. And Jide, when you look at this, will I call it a mini referendum?
No. There is in terms of the voting demographics and all that, the PDP has always been strong in Abuja and Nasarawa State. Right. In fact, it took Buhari to win. APC had always struggled to win in Nasarawa, but it was Buhari that did it for the first time. And you know, part of what we've come to see as Abuja is actually in Nasarawa State. You know, so the way it is, the urban center, if you look at the way this voting went, APC won in the semi-urban areas, that is, local governments outside of the Abuja Municipal. Those are the places where APC won. Whereas the city center, the Abuja Municipal, the rich local governments like Amak, that's where the PDP won. So you have Gwarimpa, which is the biggest estate in West Africa, if not Africa. You have Gwarimpa, is part of Amak. You can imagine the tons of cash that will be coming from there. You have Karu, you have Nyanya, you have Wuse, you have Asokoro, you have Meitama, Lokogoma, Lugbe. Those are densely populated areas. Places for the rich, as well as places for the not rich people, but densely populated like Lugbe. Those places are part of Abuja Municipal, and that's where the PDP won. If you also look at the votes cast, you will see that the votes from Amak will swallow that of two local governments, because in PDP scored 19,000 in Amak, and APC scored 13,000. So the votes cast, the total votes cast in these two local governments, when you bring others together, you will see that Amak is actually the main
battlefield.
Yes, in terms of money that is generated, that is the. I'm sure even those governors that came to campaign in Abuja, they were eyeing Amak because Amak, Abuja Municipal, is richer than some states. Just that local government is richer than some states in this country in terms of the revenue coming from there. So this is the thing. So it's like, okay, you win Abaji. Abaji is the border local government with Kogi State. Those are outside of the Abuja itself. The APC won in those distant local government, whereas the Abuja city center and the communities around it, like what was this place even called? I'm trying to remember. It's part of, I think it's part of Buhari, that is Kubwa, also densely populated. That's also a place that where the PDP won. So one can describe what has happened as, okay, one party dominating the urban center, the urban Abuja, and the other party dominating the rural or semi-rural or semi-urban Abuja.
Yaga Africa actually condemned the hiccups with the beavers. That means if we want to, it's getting to the main election now. So if we want to do the general election, we can't afford these hiccups across the country.
What it just means is this: we must get more of it.
But
because it's
not just more, but it should be functional on election day.
Yes, agreed. Because some of these things are electronic. There is nothing. There is little that can be done, because it's not as if it's used every day. You bring it out a few days to the election, you make it operational, and then you ensure that it works. But some days, some just refuse to work, and that's what has happened in this case. If we have decided to move away from one form of gadget to another, and it's still giving us the same problem, it shows that what we need will be more of what we have.
Okay.
What we need is more of what we have.
All right. I want to thank you, Dr. Oladipo. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
And Babajide Kolade Toju, thank you for your contribution. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. And join us on Journalist Hangout on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. On YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now and God bless Nigeria.